I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about they won't deal with their issues. So, the reason that I'm doing this video today is because a lot of times breakups are not cut and dry. They're not simple formulas to follow. Every situation is different, every breakup is different, and there are tons of different variables and sides and aspects of things that are going on. We all have issues. We all have insecurities. Some of us have more insecurities than others. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with the love and care that we got from our caregivers in those first 2 to 3 years of life. So, some of us have had it a lot more difficult than others, right? Some of you guys have had tremendous amounts of abuse, neglect, abandonment. You might have addictions or mental health issues, depression, anxiety, and all these things need to be factored in and looked at with a breakup. It's not as simple as going no contact. That's just ridiculous, okay? And so you want to look at all the different aspects of relationships, right? So if you have grown up in a difficult home life and your blueprint for love is not, good or healthy, and your relating with your partners is not a healthy relationship, right? Maybe you use a lot of manipulation or controlling behavior, or you don't know how to communicate or ask for what you need, or know how to give your partner what they need. So there are a lot of different aspects of situations that can go on, and if you don't deal with your own personal issues that you've had in your life, that you've experienced, if you don't talk about them and get help, it stays in your unconscious and it's unresolved. And that trauma where you were feeling very helpless, the essence of a trauma is helplessness. And so if a trauma is severe enough, you can't tell the difference between the past and the present. And so when you have an attachment trauma, the attachment that you had with your caregivers, maybe the anxiety you felt from separation anxiety from them, or the depression that you felt that you would never get love from your caregivers, well, it's going to come out in your romantic relationships. So I've got an email today from a guy in his 30s, dating a woman who is in her late 20s. Now, they've been together for about 2 years. And he told me a little bit about her history. He said it was a very traumatic upbringing. What do I always say? When there's trauma, look for drama. If you haven't seen that video yet, go watch it. It's a really good one. This girl had no hugs or attempt of consoling from her caregivers. She may have been sexually abused when she was in elementary school, and her father left the family also around that time. So you can imagine how difficult it would be for her to trust men when her father abandoned her. He said that regarding the breakup, that she felt she needed to find herself, and she needed to deal with her aggression, or what did I just say? Her depression, and that she loved me, and she didn't want to live without me, but did not know what she wanted at that moment, and she suffers from depression and anxiety. Well, depression and anxiety are going to have major impact on your relationship. It's just the way that it is. And, obviously she's saying she needs to deal with it, but she's not dealing with it, right? Alright. He told her that he didn't want to be friends, which is great because, obviously you don't want to just settle for friendship. I see people every day that settle for friendship, then they're just miserable, and they're just trying to manipulate their ex to get him back. I did a Skype call with somebody today who tried that, and they were spending all this time around the ex, and it was awkward. Yeah, because he's trying to get her back, and she's dating somebody new. You don't want to settle for friendship. Alright, so he said he did not reply to her for 2 days while she bombarded his phone. I eventually did reply and told her that I didn't want to ignore her or anything, that it was very confusing to me and I was tired of trying so much. She said some nice things and I caved in and said I wanted to work it out and loved her, to which she replied, I don't want to keep hurting you. I love you deeply, but don't want to keep hurting you. I don't know how to fix things. Well, she's got to get some professional help. She's got to go to a therapist, deal with her trauma, deal with her abuse, deal with her neglect. She might want to consider going to a psychiatrist to get evaluated for medication. There's no bonus points for suffering. Okay? You suffer, you're going to be miserable. You're not going to get bonus points for just sticking it out and toughing it out. That's what the medication is there for, to help you. Obviously, it's not going to be the end-all solution to things, but you have to deal with things like an adult. And you can't stay in a relationship with somebody that isn't going to make mental health a priority in their own life. Think about it. If they are not even concerned about their own mental well-being, how are they going to tend to your needs, your desires, anything like that? I mean, it's imperative for somebody to deal with their issues in life. Alright. So, he said that based on watching my videos, he realizes he has an anxious attachment. And he's been suffering extremely from the past years from anxiety and confusion. And he believes that she has an avoidant attachment style, which she probably does from the terrible childhood that she had. Now, he says she acts very immature, like a 19-year-old, because she does drugs, partying with younger crowds, and leaving her son in her mom's care 90% of the time, even when not at work. So look at her level of functioning, okay? She's doing drugs. Why? Because she's got anxiety. She doesn't know how to soothe it. She's partying with younger crowds. So what does it tell you about her maturity level? Leaving her son in her mom's care 90% of the time, even when she's not working. Well, how selfish is that? That is your child, that is your responsibility, and your job is to make that child feel like the most important person in this world. And she's leaving her son with somebody 90% of the time, even when she's not at work. That is just awful. Now, granted, I would not say grab that son away from grandma and bring him back to mom, because that is going to make things worse for that poor boy. Because now, grandma is his world and his caregiver, and any kind of separation from her or from grandma would be traumatic for the little boy. So, not an easy situation, but look at how well she is functioning in her life. She's not doing well. She's not doing well as a mother. She's not doing good as a partner. She is doing drugs, probably drinking all the time, partying all the time, not functioning. She's got to get herself some help. Now, he's talking about how he has anxiety and his job is being affected. Sure, because you're feeling the separation anxiety from her, the trauma of breaking up with her is going to have a major impact on you. He's had other women ask him out, but he doesn't feel good about it because he feels guilty right now, which is perfectly normal because you don't necessarily want to jump into something else after a long-term relationship. It's best to give yourself some time to heal and to grow and to learn from your last relationship. Plus, he still has tremendous feelings for her, so you don't want to lead somebody else on when you're desperate to get your ex back, because that's just using them. Alright. So, he says, I can't get to the point where I can let her go, as I would like to fix things with her and have a normal relationship eventually. But this may not be a possibility, as after 2 years I feel no real progress has happened. What are you supposed to do, right? She doesn't want to work on herself. She doesn't want to act like an adult. She doesn't want to even take care of her own child. What kind of a partner is she going to be? You're an adult, and you take care of yourself. Her son is a child and depends on her, and she doesn't even take care of him. Think about it. Okay? He says, I'm unsure if I'm messing up and pressuring too much, and this is why she is pulled away, or if she is just attached to me. Or she has major amounts of anxiety and deals with it by doing a lot of drugs, doesn't deal with her trauma from her past. I don't think this has much to do with you. Sure, your anxious behavior may have pushed her away somewhat, but I don't think that's the real issue here. All of this is very hard as she refuses to let me go, has acted very childish, and doesn't communicate her feelings well at all. She avoids any questions. There are months where I haven't seen her, but we text every day. Think about this. Do you really want to continue to chase after somebody who acts like this? Because you have to assume that if you get back with her, that she's going to continue to be the same way. Okay? Don't assume that if you get her back, it's going to change, because it's not. She has any desire or willingness to improve, to work on herself, or to stay committed to working on her issues, okay? Because you have to understand, she has a lot of unresolved trauma, and that's going to come out. Those traumas that we've had in our childhood that are unresolved, they come out eventually, whether you like it or not. You can only suppress them for so long. Then you start winding up with anxiety attacks one day, and you have no idea where they came from. You have panic attacks, you have night terrors, and all of it is like, where is this coming from? Why is this happening to me? Well, it's because you have a lot of unresolved issues that you have to talk about. That is the way the brain heals, by talking about things. That's why I'm always telling you guys, you have to talk about the breakup. You got to do it. If you don't want to work with me personally, get yourself a therapist locally. Be careful on the advice that they give you regarding a breakup, because they're not really trained to have an understanding about breakups. That's something that I study, that I've intensely tried to learn and figure out over the years. So be careful in that regards, because sometimes they'll tell you to do stuff like, write them a handwritten letter. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. But talking about your issues, dealing with your trauma is imperative for your emotional health. And you can't be with a partner who isn't going to be emotionally healthy. It will never last. Okay? So, if you want to get my help personally, go to my website, AskCraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. If you liked the video, put a like on there, because I do appreciate that. And be sure to subscribe to the channel, because I do post videos Monday through Friday. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.